Good evening, everyone. You've signed on for another great edition of the King's Castle. I'm King James. I'll be your host for the next hour of entertainment news, wrestling news, and whatever else you want to know. And here to help me, as always, is my colleague, the always reliable and always witty Mr. Blair Chopin.
Thank you.
Good
That's
evening,
very nice.
Blair. And
You always say, hold on, before we get, and also Jeff, the executive producer.
joining once again tonight, Jeffrey Langill, our executive producer.
But you always say whatever else people want to know. Are you saying you know what other people want to know?
Or are we taking calls?
No,
Are we taking calls?
I'm saying
Because I got a hot call from Pete on the line.
I'm saying I want our viewers to tell us what they want to know in the comments.
Is that the same as a hot Peter on the line?
That's
I got
what
a hot Pete.
that's what that means. But anyway, it's been a very newsworthy week in the world of pro wrestling, in more ways than one. But unfortunately, it is on a somber note that we have to start tonight's show, because over the weekend we learned that we lost a true legend,
A real killer.
in the legendary Jimmy Superfly Snuka. For those of you who don't know, Superfly became famous for that legendary leap off the top of a steel cage in Madison Square Garden onto Don Morocco, which won him one of his first championships. So,
And that was really a huge moment for pro wrestling. Because they really hadn't seen anything like that.
exactly.
In the mainstream before.
In fact, that was one of the things Superfly became famous for, was his Superfly Frog Splash, which that was what the
And this is the
move was
era
called.
where calling people fly was cool. So his name had a double connotation.
Why do you say calling people fly was cool? Because people
They'd be
were,
like, you so fly.
people were wearing fly jackets.
Or they like to spread their wings more back then.
Little Lucy.
or maybe the entire world was just a buzz. Okay, bad joke, right? But anyway,
Really bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
but Superfly had a rather interesting past outside of the ring, as you so generally hinted to, Blair. You know why that is?
I've heard he shot a man in Reno just to watch him bleed.
Well, I don't know if he shot a man in Reno, but he was actually convicted of murder about 3 years ago. So unfortunately, he had to live out the remainder of his days on the inside, but that doesn't change the fact that he was a very accomplished wrestler, and he will be sorely missed.
But, I mean, even if and there's no excuse for murdering someone, obviously. But we've learned over the years what effects this pro wrestling life can have on the brain.
Exactly.
Concussions,
I mean,
substance abuse.
look what it
steroid
did
abuse.
look what it did to people like Chris Benoit and the Dynamite Kid.
The Dynamite Kid and the guy we talk about from the 90s a lot, who was Lex Luger.
Yeah.
I mean, it had catastrophic effects on them. So, I mean, it's kind of like football in that way. I mean, you never know, like, the possibility for brain injury and brain-altering injury is there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this was the case for Superfly, but, I mean, he lived in an era where we were ignorant or intentionally ignorant about these kind of things.
Exactly. And that is
So, I mean,
that's horribly unfortunate, but
I don't think it should diminish his legacy as a wrestler.
absolutely not.
As the same way I don't think what Hulk Hogan's transgressions should diminish his.
Well,
Like
that's
you
a
said,
whole
so.
other story, and for my own protection, we'd rather not get into that.
What for your own protection?
Well,
What's going to happen to you? Hulk Hogan said
I
a
mean,
racial slur.
I don't want to get too much into the subject
But the
matter
point
of the
is,
story.
You should still honor your history, even if the people making the history did some terrible things. For instance, I would still, because you learn from it. For instance, a lot of people don't like Andrew Jackson. He did some bad things, but it's part of your history. You learn about it and you learn from it. You don't just wash it all the way out of there.
And maybe I will say, as far as the
In
whole
4 years, we'll say the same thing about Donald Trump.
as far as the Hulk Hogan thing is concerned, maybe what he did, as disgraceful as that was, can be a learning curve for other people that they need to be more sensitive.
Yeah, and like, despite what he did, he's still one of the biggest superstars in the history of professional wrestling.
Exactly.
You can't tell the history of professional wrestling without him. It's the same thing with baseball. You know, you don't want to include guys in the Baseball Hall of Fame who did steroids.
Right.
And yes, doing the steroids was wrong. But you can't just wash away 15 years of your history.
Right. So Superfly, again, you will be sorely missed. Rest in peace. But that's not the only major league story from the past week. I've got some major news as it relates to our good friends at Impact Wrestling. For those of you that don't know...
Oh, they sent me a friend request and I denied it.
For those of you that don't
I
know,
don't like them.
Impact Wrestling
Very boring.
recently fired Billy Corgan, who was their on-screen president.
Oh, Smashing Pumpkins guy?
Yeah.
Why did he get fired?
I don't know. But as a result, they are now owned by Anthem Sports and Entertainment, who also own the Fight Network app. But anyway...
Oh, what a prestigious company.
What's his last name?
Corgan.
Corgen. He's the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins.
Corgen.
But
He went off the rails and bought the wrestling company.
But anyway,
And then supposedly got fired.
Anthem Sports and Entertainment owns Impact Wrestling, and they own the Fight Network. So they're the ones in charge of...
So did Billy get fired, or did he sell his stake?
Supposedly, according to Wrestle Talk News, he got fired a few months ago.
Wow.
But
Tough times for Billy.
that's a whole other story. But anyway, Anthem Sports and Entertainment are the ones in charge of distributing all the Fight Network content and all of the Impact Wrestling pay-per-view exclusive content internationally. However, during a recent streaming, they made a huge mistake.
Did they put nudies on the screen?
Nope.
Like that Mexican restaurant you went to?
Get this. When they were trying to air the show in Canada, Impact Wrestling, they aired the wrong episode.
Oh my gosh.
So those
3 people in Canada were very upset.
So the fans in Canada saw something that we here in America haven't seen yet.
Oh.
Among other things,
is it free healthcare?
No. Among other things, we've seen the crowning of a new world champion, and we've seen 2 very popular stars, one male and one female, turn heel. One of those being the returning Angelina Love, who is a record-setting 6-time women's knockout champion.
Love is a classic porn
for the brand. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But on the other hand, we gotta think that this is gonna be a nail in the coffin for Impact.
Yeah.
Because
I'm pretty sure that coffin's already shut.
Because from what we understand, here in the United States, they're supposed to air the Race for the Case episode tonight.
Well, I mean, that's basically like saying that's going to be a real nail in the coffin for Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac's already dead. Or Superfly Snuka, he's already dead. Impact isn't going anywhere.
You don't think so?
They're getting bought by the Fight Network, which I've never heard of, who is famous for owning an app.
Right.
I don't think things are going very well.
So, all I can say is, Impact Wrestling, you know, I've tried to support you.
You have.
But I'm sorry. I don't see you guys going anywhere but down. I hate to say it.
So I just did a little Google, and it says the reason the fight with Impact Wrestling and Billy Corgan is that he claims they owe him money.
Ooh.
And that we went on a big rant on Twitter about it, saying they owe him money, back pay, and they were supposed to pay him. He got a judgment against them, and they refused to pay him still.
Wow.
And then he's now said he would take stock in exchange for the pay. So they're basically having a back and forth about
Contract
the
disputes.
pay. Yeah.
So it's
Thank
a low,
you.
So it's a low point for a rock star.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff, for that
Mhm.
exclusive.
That was some good information.
Right.
Oh.
I think Jeff's going to come asking for money next.
But when we come back, we're going to switch gears and get into the mainframe storyline of WWE, including who the first inductee into the 2017 class of the Hall of Fame is, and you're never going to believe who it is.
Who?
So stay right there.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So how do you go from being a rock star in a pretty popular band to begging a terrible wrestling organization for money?
I don't know.
That's pretty bad.
Unless he made some mistakes when he was on tour, but that's all I'm
I think that's a walking behind the music episode.
I agree. That is, It Behind the Music still airs.
I don't think it does. But if it did, that'd be a good episode.
Yeah, you're right.
He was on top of the
Anyway,
world. Now he's on top of the world.
We'll be back with more analyzing right after this.
For some cash, he'll be on top of you.